Continue with Chris Corti, whom I'm going to introduce. Highly appreciated speaker at the Symposium of Santa Fe and JTF and JTF, with more than 40 years in the industry of precious metals with the Golden Council and Johnson Matthey, prior to setting up his own consultancy firm in 2009. He has perfected in metallurgy in Surrey, United Kingdom, and he's worked in the energy industry in the UK and Switzerland prior to moving to the precious metal sector. The title is Titanium, a Forgotten Alloying Metal for Jewellery Alloys. There is a consistent search for higher, tighter alloys for jewellery that can best meet the needs of modern lifestyles. In the last 30 years, there have been several attempts at developing improved resistance and strength alloys, for example, using titanium. So the benefit of titanium will be investigated for alloys with platinum, gold, and silver. Please, Chris Corti, you have the floor.
I don't know why you're clapping. You haven't heard me yet. Right. Good afternoon. The title of my talk is a question. Titanium, is it a forgotten alloying metal for jewellery alloys? In all precious metals for jewellery application, there is a desire for stronger, harder alloys, particularly at the high caratages and finenesses, that better meet the more demanding conditions of modern lifestyles. There have been various developments over the last 30 years or more to fulfil this need, but many have not found much commercial success to date. It was while researching my recent review of platinum jewellery alloys that I became aware of alloy systems that had showed much promise, but were never further developed to commercial application for jewellery. An example of this is described in a Johnson Matthey patent for the age-hardenable platinum gallium indium alloy, platinum 3 gallium 1.5 indium. In this patent, the inventors also refer to platinum gallium gold alloys as an option, with the use of yttrium additions of about 0.1% as a deoxidizer. The platinum 3 gallium 2 gold alloy is claimed to have a high hardness of 200 Vickers. Such gold alloys are said to cast well. In another example, Reixam, in his review of potentially promising ternary gold alloy systems for platinum jewellery, describes several alloy systems such as the platinum palladium ruthenium, platinum iridium rhodium, platinum rhodium ruthenium, and platinum gold rhodium that have potential in terms of good mechanical properties, corrosion resistance, and good colour. Another example is the use of aluminium additions to confer fire stain resistance to silver copper alloys, but such alloys have never found commercial interest. One alloying metal, hang on, did we not move? Oh. One alloying metal that has shown to be good at conferring high strength and hardness to the precious metals is titanium, and research to develop jewellery alloys for gold, silver and platinum is to be found in the literature, mainly for the pure metals. However, titanium-containing alloys have not found commercial interest despite very promising results. It begs the question, why? Has its beneficial use been forgotten, or are there other reasons for the lack of interest? However, recent work suggests that interest in titanium is being explored commercially now. I'm going to review the research work to date for gold, silver and platinum. We will start with the use of titanium in gold jewellery alloys. Jewellery in 24 karat gold, defined as 99.0% gold minimum, is the most dominant caratage in the oriental countries of the Far East, but its poor strength and hardness leads to poor wear and tear in service. Recognising this issue, the International Gold Corporation, which is now the World Gold Council, funded a research program in South Africa and Germany to develop a stronger, harder 24-carat gold in the late 1980s. This resulted in the development of 990 gold. It is a gold 1% titanium alloy. That is 990 fineness. So it is hallmarkable as 24 carat. It has mechanical properties considerably superior to 24 carat gold, approaching those of 18 carat golds, as we can see in the table. We can see that it has good hardness in the annealed, cold worked and age hardened conditions. The basis for selection of titanium for this alloy was the possibility of second phase precipitation, as an alloy containing 1% alloying addition in solution was cooled from 800 to 400 degrees Celsius, i.e. its age hardenability. From this, a table of probable hardening effectiveness was constructed, which we can see in the next table. The last column makes clear the reason for developing the 990 gold titanium alloy. The promise of the rare earths and zirconium are also noted. In the case of 990 gold, the precipitates are the gold 4 titanium intermetallic phase. The phase diagram, and I apologise for those of you that don't like phase diagrams, but it does show the limited solubility of titanium in gold at the low temperatures. The reason for limiting it to a 1% addition was to make the gold hallmarkable as 24 carat. Titanium acts as a grain refiner and makes the alloy age hardenable. While the alloy has attractive properties, it has not found much commercial interest, probably because it requires relatively sophisticated alloying and manufacturing techniques in a market where cost is a priority and manufacturing capability has been unsophisticated. It was possibly too advanced for its time. The beneficial use of titanium appears to have been forgotten for a decade or more, but more recently there have been a number of studies and patents where its use has been included. The use of titanium was explored in a study of 18-carat yellow golds with increased hardness by Soos and his colleagues at Mintech in South Africa. In particular, they were seeking alloys with a hardness in excess of 300 Vickers and targeted at applications for watch cases. They explored some 15 alloying metals, including titanium, and their effect on hardenability and colour. The table gives some results in terms of hardness for additions of titanium compared to standard 18-carat yellow. The target hardness of 300 Vickers was only reached with a 2% titanium plus a 0.5% cobalt addition. However, the alloys were a pale yellow colour and the formability of the alloys was compromised. So in their study, the use of titanium was not pursued further. They attributed the poor hardenability of the alloys to the increased solubility of titanium due to the copper and silver content of the 18-carat gold. And this reduces the amount of precipitate that forms and hence limits the potential increase in hardness and strength. There are some recent patents that involve the alloying of titanium into gold alloys. In the European patent in 2016, Montreuil Brejeux SA claim a lightweight precious 18-carat gold alloy containing at least 75% gold, containing titanium and other elements in certain proportions, some of which act as a grain refiner. The alloys of this invention have a moderate hardness of less than 300 Vickers, it is claimed. The main aim here is to produce lightweight alloys for watch and jewellery applications. With a density of only 4.54 grams per cubic centimetre, its use in alloying with gold can make a significant impact on alloy density and hence cost of jewellery. In another patent, a US patent in 2020, the inventors Pethe and Parab claim hard gold alloys of 18 to 24 carat containing titanium, zirconium and magnesium in combination for jewellery manufacture, again with a beneficial impact on alloy density. Hardness values of up to 260 Vickers are claimed. And lastly, in a European patent application in 2022, the inventors Guido and Colas claim gold and titanium alloys of 9 to 22 carat with improved properties, due in part to additions of a grain refiner for watch and jewellery applications. A major market for gold jewellery is 22 carat gold in the Indian subcontinent. With a fineness of 916, such 22 carat gold alloys are soft with hardnesses of about 52 to 70 Vickers in the annealed condition. Use of a much harder 22 carat gold alloy would allow lighter weight jewellery with economic benefit. The use of small cobalt additions and conventional alloying with cobalt plus antimony additions show some promise. But more recent work by Saradesh and his colleagues on additions of titanium to 22 carat gold have demonstrated that titanium additions act as a grain refiner and allow substantial age hardening. Some results are shown in this next table. And we can see, compared to normal 22 carat golds, additions of 0.5, 0.75 and 1% titanium. And we can see in the annealed, in the cold work and in the aged conditions, we get considerably higher hardnesses. And for hardness, you can read strength as well. The commercial use of a 22 carat gold alloy strengthened by titanium based on this work by the Titan company in India under their tarnished brand has allowed jewellery products to be marketed that show a 30% reduction compared to conventional 22 carat gold alloy, as we can see in the figure. I'll get it out in a minute. The centre picture shows a hollow bangle in their new alloy compared to a conventional 22 carat gold alloy bangle. And this is an example of where there's considerable weight saving. That's all I'm going to say on gold alloys. I'm going to now turn to the use of titanium in platinum jewellery alloys. Research by Biggs and her colleagues carried out at Mintec in 2005 has examined potential alloying systems for harder alloys aimed at 950 fineness platinum for jewellery application. Over 20 alloying metals were studied in preliminary trials at levels of 2% and 4% addition, and those showing promise were also studied at 3% addition. From this work, alloys with additions of titanium, zirconium, tin, gallium, germanium, magnesium, indium and vanadium were studied in more depth. This work, along with consideration of other aspects, allowed the conclusion that the best alloy was a platinum 2% titanium alloy. This had cast and annealed hardnesses sufficiently low to be easily worked and formed, but with subsequent heat treatment, the hardness value could be increased by about 90 Vickers. Hardness values after aging at 800 degrees of 231 to 251 Vickers were measured, as we can see in the graph from their publication. The patent gives many possible compositions, including a preferred one with a 2% titanium addition and one at 950 fineness with a 2% titanium plus 3% of precious metal. It is not clear whether this work has been developed into a commercial 950 fineness platinum alloy, but clearly shows a lot of promise. Lastly, I'm now going to look at the use of titanium in silver jewellery alloys. Some preliminary research on additions of titanium to silver has been reported by Wright at the 2013 Santa Fe Symposium. He compared the phase diagrams for gold titanium and silver titanium and concluded that silver titanium alloys should produce similar hardening results to gold titanium, such as the 990 alloy. A big difference is that the silver titanium system produces the intermetallic phase AgTi as the precipitate compared to Au4Ti for the gold system. This has implications for the volume of precious metal taken up as a precipitate. He also noted that the decrease in solubility of titanium on cooling to room temperature is much less in the silver system compared to the gold system. A further point was that the density difference between silver and titanium is about half that of gold and titanium. Thus, to get a similar volume of precipitate in silver would require about 4 to 6% titanium compared to the 1% we saw in the 990 gold alloy. Some initial tests on wire made in a silver 2% titanium alloy from a casting sprue indicated that solution treatment and age hardening were possible. The figure gives some results on samples solutionized for 2 hours at 800, quenched and aged. Wright cautioned that the apparent overaging effect is possibly due to local variations in composition in the samples. Further tests on samples made by 3D printing from alloy powder and solution treated at 900 shows a steady increase in hardness with titanium content in the range of 2 to 8%, with a hardness varying from 55 Vickers at 2% titanium to greater than 90 Vickers at 8% titanium in the solution-treated condition. A US patent by Vogel in 2012 describes tarnish-resistant sterling silver alloys that also demonstrate hardness. In particular, it describes a titanium-containing alloy with improved tarnish resistance and hardness. The composition is given as 92.5% silver, from 0.5 to 7% titanium, and optionally up to 6.5 palladium, and up to 7% niobium, as well as other elements. An example is given in the patent of a sterling silver alloy containing 5% titanium that can be work hardened and age hardened for 150 Vickers and with improved tarnish resistance. From these studies, it can be deduced that the principle of alloying silver with titanium can produce alloys that can be age hardened and would find interest in a jewellery application, especially as tarnish resistance is improved. Higher amounts of titanium than needed for gold and platinum appear to be needed for the reasons I've already discussed. The title of this paper begs the question of whether the use of titanium to produce harder, stronger alloys in precious metals has been forgotten since the development of 990 gold in the late 1980s. This alloy has not met with much commercial success in our industry, but it may be worth revisiting as our industry has become more technically advanced over the last 30 years. As detailed in this paper, the use of titanium as an alloying metal has been studied further over the last 15 years for gold, platinum and silver, and shows some promise, particularly at the higher caratages and finenesses. Its use confers good age hardening capability, and it has benefits in terms of lighter weight jewellery as it lowers alloy density significantly. As noted, one jewellery manufacturer in India has recently funded development of a titanium-containing 22-carat yellow gold alloy that is now in commercial production for jewellery application. Its use can lead to substantial weight saving with a concomitant lowering of cost. From the evidence presented in this paper, the use of titanium alone or in combination with other alloying metals facilitates good age hardenability for gold and platinum alloys particularly, but also in silver, albeit high levels of titanium additions are required for silver. There is evidence that it also confers improved tarnish and fire stain resistance to silver. So to answer the question posed by the title, the evidence is that titanium as an alloying metal had been forgotten, but it appears to be at the start of a new era in its use in precious metal jewellery alloys. So we can make the following conclusions, I think. The use of titanium in precious metal alloys confers good age hardenability to precious metal alloys, particularly at high caratages and finenesses. Titanium additions also act as a grain refiner in precious metal alloys. It also lowers alloy density, thus enabling lighter weight jewellery with economic benefit. And there is some evidence that titanium confers improved tarnish and fire stain resistance to silver alloys. So, final conclusion, titanium is no longer forgotten. Thank you very much.